The Bermuda Triangle has always been a place of fascination and fear, a stretch of ocean where the rules of reality seem to twist and break. For decades, ships and planes have vanished without a trace, swallowed by its enigmatic waters. In the summer of 1986, the crew of the research vessel Eclipse embarked on an expedition to uncover the secrets of the Triangle. They never returned. Captain Daniel Carter had been skeptical of the myths surrounding the Bermuda Triangle, dismissing them as mere superstition. His crew, a mix of scientists and sailors, shared his pragmatic outlook. Their mission was simple: investigate the strange magnetic anomalies reported in the area and collect data. Equipped with state-of-the-art equipment and brimming with confidence, they set sail from Miami on a clear, cloudless day. For the first 2 days, everything went as planned. The ocean was calm, and the instruments recorded nothing unusual. On the third night, however, everything changed. The first sign of trouble was a faint hum, barely audible but growing louder with each passing moment. The crew dismissed it as interference from the equipment, but then the lights flickered. The ship's powerful searchlights, capable of piercing the darkest nights, began to strobe erratically before plunging the Eclipse into complete darkness. "What's happening?" shouted Dr. Emily Hayes, the lead scientist. Before anyone could answer, the ship's compass spun wildly, and the GPS screen dissolved into static. The once calm sea now churned violently, waves slamming against the hull with unnatural force. Then the fog rolled in. It wasn't ordinary fog. It glowed faintly, an eerie greenish-white hue that seemed to pulse like a living thing. Visibility dropped to almost zero. "All hands on deck!" Captain Carter's voice cut through the chaos. The crew scrambled, their footsteps echoing on the metal deck as they fought to regain control of the ship. The radio crackled to life, emitting bursts of static interspersed with faint whispers. The voices were garbled, their words unintelligible but filled with an unmistakable urgency. Dr. Hayes leaned closer to the radio, trying to make sense of the sounds. "It's like they're trying to warn us," she murmured. As she spoke, the fog began to swirl, forming shapes that defied explanation. Faces appeared, their eyes hollow and filled with despair. They seemed to scream silently, their mouths moving in sync with the whispers on the radio. Panic set in among the crew. "This is just an atmospheric anomaly," Carter tried to reassure them, but his voice lacked conviction. The ship's instruments began to overheat, smoke rising from the consoles. Suddenly, the Eclipse lurched forward, as if pulled by an invisible force. The fog thickened, and the hum grew into a deafening roar. The crew clung to anything they could as the ship was dragged toward an enormous vortex that had materialized ahead. The vortex shimmered like liquid glass, reflecting distorted images of places and times that shouldn't have been visible. A World War II fighter plane spiraled endlessly within the vortex, its pilot's face frozen in a look of horror. A massive shipwreck appeared and disappeared, its rusted hull groaning as if alive. Dr. Hayes screamed as she saw her own face in the vortex, staring back at her with lifeless eyes. The Eclipse was now completely at the mercy of the vortex. Crew members were thrown overboard by the violent rocking of the ship. Those who remained watched in terror as the fog began to seep onto the deck, wrapping itself around their limbs like living tendrils. Captain Carter fought to keep control, but it was useless. The ship was being consumed. In his final moments, he grabbed the logbook and scrawled a desperate message. "To whoever finds this, it's not just the ocean. It's alive. It sees us. It's waiting." As the last words left his pen, the vortex swallowed the Eclipse whole. The sea calmed instantly, the fog dissipating as if it had never been there. The only trace of the Eclipse was its logbook, found weeks later floating off the coast of Bermuda. To this day, no one knows what happened to the ship or its crew. Some say they were pulled into another dimension. Others believe they became part of the triangle itself. their voices joining the whispers that still haunt the area. The Bermuda Triangle keeps its